Alright, welcome to the stream, everybody. Once again, it's me, and we're chilling. Really excited today. I honestly think I'm just gonna not do any furnishing styles. I have this whole second half of the castle to do. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm in this witchy Halloween spirit, and the catacombs are just the right vibe. So I got my warm drinks, and I'm ready to go down beneath the college. And let's see what lies under. What secrets can be revealed below what we've been building? So first thing I want to take a look at, and I might have to just step away from the camera a bit to doodle in my draw pad because it's nice to kind of visualize things before you go create, and you can just dive a whole bunch of hours and work and clicks into something that is just not going to fit or have the right vibe. So I believe this map is 60 by 100. Yeah. So 60 by 100, and what's the measurement from here? 60. So there's an extra 40 over here, so I have an extra 40 over there. Yeah, and just kind of, I don't want to make the catacombs full size. I want to kind of scale them down a little bit. I still want them to be a full playable area and like make sense to fit underneath, but I don't want them to be fully to scale. So I guess I'll just redraw. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I'm doing here is just drawing on graph paper is all. Actually, I have graph paper somewhere, but this is line paper, which works. It's half graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 60 by 100. But 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be the caddies. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 60. 60 by 60 is the frat. Divines are 60 by 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, and the last one's over here. 60. Then I also have these ones here, right? Right, I do. So, as a row, divine, coal, 5, arcane, and loft. So the plot is quite large, quite large. Let me position the camera in an appeasing manner. Let's see what she looks like at night. Ooh, yes. Now we're talking. Okay, so as I continue here, I'm gonna cheat 40 away because there doesn't need to be any catacomb over there. So that's 60, and that gets me 40 into here. These definitely don't need to be 60 wide, so I think we'll make these. Make it 40 wide, 40 by 100, long and skinny is how have always seen this. And then maybe like one big room or something, but we'll get into that when we get there. I think like the catacombs will be skinny, and then the last room will be like a 40 by 40 room, big and bulky. So if we're doing 40 wide, yeah, I guess make that its own entrance, because we want that one to be a secret. So we put it on its own map. And then these could be 10, 20, 30, 40. That's 30. That leaves 1, 2, 3. So we're like halfway into these maps. That actually kind of makes sense almost. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 30 by 80. We'll do, okay, I got the numbers. Everybody. So, main is going to be 100 by 40. Second is going to be 80 by 40. And coal is going to be 40 by 40? We'll just do 60 by 40, because there's going to be a tower in it too. So yeah, 60 by 40, and just trim a little bit of the map off it. And then they all kind of have like scaling shape a little bit. So yeah, let me finish just so this is all like counting numbers. I need 40, 80, 100, 40, 40, 80, 40, 60. And then what I want to do for the design inside, I'll figure out and do whatever I want. It's like let it be fun. So it's like you can just like take the basic shape and structure, and I know personally where all the plots are essentially for where the buildings are, and honestly, this is what is helpful. I guess let's see if it shows up at all. Okay, so yeah, you can look over here. This is like super rough, but like this just helps you visualize, right? So I have, this is the main, this is hard to do my finger like this. So on the outside here that's where the actual plot of these big maps that I made, the Bastion and Frat Row. And then you see here, I'm gonna have, this is the interior. So this squiggly line, dark line, is going to be the map that I make, a 40 by 80 map, you see? And the corners of each of these maps, this corner and this corner, effectively sit on the central points of the maps that I've made. So those 60 by 60 maps, they would meet in the middle. But I'm gonna have that secret entrance wherever I want in those buildings, not necessarily in the center. I guess it could be a good point because in the bastions I do have a cool centerpiece, but I can thematically or effectively put it anywhere I want, and then when you drop down, it will at least just have the feel of you came from the center point of that spatially, distance-wise, for the players, for the DM. It'll make sense. So it does have a literal size, but it's cheated a little bit, right? The actual pathing from the stair down to the beginning of this tunnel, this catacomb down here, is going to be off and kind of made up and fictional, and could be 80 feet, could be 10 feet. I don't know. I haven't planned that out yet. But once you're down in there, which is the feel I want to go for, is you won't notice. And what I'm effectively doing is trimming all the maps so that they're just like a usable size and not too big. And I might even trim them a bit further. We'll see. I think 40 could be a little skinny, but let's get into it. New map. I guess start with the big one. Large cavern, vegetation cave, weather. Let's see what it looks like with snow in there. Maybe it's cold. I'll add water in if I want it. Room P placement. Is that new? Is that new stuff? Yes. Love large map warning. It's on all my maps. I am gonna try and trim content. I think this map here is sitting at around 25,000 megabytes. So if I could get that down to maybe 15,000 or something, I think we'll have a better time in our life. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, there it is. Okay. This is not gonna work for me. However, I mean, hats off. Hats off to literal. There, and there's your entrance. Hats off to. You know what? Let's do this. Ready? We're just gonna just like prop up DA and just how much I love this program. Where's my barbarian? I always like playing with this barb. But we're gonna take a walk. We're just gonna see. I just literally in 5 seconds created this cavern, this cavern system, and we're just gonna take a walk. Dead ends, crypt torches, snow, difficult terrain, with a skill check for damage maybe. You can get through it. Some more difficult terrain maybe, an athletics check, and you could throw a chest back here maybe. You know, like. Look at this. Look at how good this is. Oh, look at. Oh, can we fit? Yes. A bottleneck into a room. This could be like a creature's little lair or something. A spider den or something. Like honestly, it's just like I'm just like blown away. Like I can't wait. I'm gonna start DMing next year once I get everything settled in my life. But in 5 seconds, I literally just have a dungeon that I can walk my players through. All it needs is some fluff, some loot. So the thing is, if I do snow, the whole thing's gonna be snow. So I think I'm not gonna do snow. Look at this, death pit, all these checks. Something's down here, you know, like there's just like so much possibility. And then like, okay, so you want a big room. Let's make ourselves a big room, a big cavern room. You know what? Let's see what it looks like when we do a big cavern room. Like, come on, dude. Slap a dragon in here. Alright, let's get to building. Enough fooling around. New map. Just turn the snow off. Crypt lights. No lights. I'll do my own lighting. I'll do my own water. Ooh. Crystal cave. What's this? And also glowing mushroom cave. I might opt for that one here. And then we'll do, I can do my own crystals. I just want to see what this has to offer with the crystals. Okay, so like a rock type and just random place crystals. Yeah, I think I'll do my own crystallization in certain areas. New map, and let's see what glowing mushroom has to offer. Oh, okay, random mushroom aesthetic, cool, lovely. Interesting. It does just have random. Alright. This is just a little inundating at first, because normally I don't have to do this much crafting of the terrain, but because this is all... Let's do it the other way. I want to erase everything and cut into it what I want to be there. And I think this area down here, I'm going to do half of it up high. And let's look at our schmap. Again, we're just going to do some doodly bobs. Coal's going to come straight to it. Like this, and straight to it. So I guess, technically, if that's over there, a lot of this doesn't matter. And we would have something like this that would cut through. We would hide this in some fashion, but I'll leave it open for now. No, we're here. We're here. I'm gonna do 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they need to meet here. 1, 2, 3. So 30 foot in. And he's gonna be coming in here. 1, 2, 3 is 30 foot in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that effectively gives us a whole bunch of dead space over here, which we don't like. And that does not give us a lot of fun space. The way I just mapped this out essentially brings those in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here at the half point, like this. And then just like look at all this waste of space. Not fun. Not fun. We don't like not fun. So perhaps they come in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, no, no. So, like here and here. Raise this up. Because you're coming in at 30 foot. Maybe we have like some kind of like some type of legitimate building down in here, like so. Because this is essentially effectively like an emergency like bunker for said college students. So all the students would be able to hit these emergency tunnels and kind of pour out from the bunker. But then we would have secrets that lead to a super large cave. Bust this way out. And this is going to be down below. It's going to continuously get lower and lower and lower. It'll have this cave network in between it. I'm going to do like a labyrinth of a cave in here. And then out here will just be a big open room, I guess. Let's see. Oh, I already wasn't slanty. Yeah, look at how big this is once you get out of that top-down view. So it's gonna flatten. So yeah, a lot of digging, I guess. A lot of digging today. As I carve out, carve out of the clay what I see this gonna look like. So essentially I see this as like one big decline down to a very deep, dark pit below the center of the castle. Some like little cuts, just give it some shape. Make things shapely, don't make things straight. See, I'm just like picking a point in the hill. Well, that's like, alright there, that's where I wanted it. And then we're gonna just smooth this all out in a sense. Let's brush smaller so I can get in here. Just a little detail like this. Spooky cave music. Alright, so there's some basic general shape. And now what I want to do is like take a central path and like smooth it out. I like to take my time with the smooth button. It goes slow even with the power. Oh, Turn this power up a bit because it goes so slow. And it helps. You see, the terrace helps. So you saw the terrace, like you set it up for success, and you don't want to go like 5 foot stairs. I guess with your terrace is a little much. I mean, I guess that's where I am now. Looking in hindsight, it's about a 5 foot gap. So anything higher than that, like one cube is like arguably just gonna be. Okay, I'm gonna path down. Just give it a little hooky hook for no reason. And I guess for battle sense and purpose, we'll leave these 5 foot terraces because then you have to climb them. Right? Right. Just coming in with a smaller, sharp brush to do just that, sharpen all these edges a bit for me. I knew that was, my mouse is in a weird spot there. Let's nick some of these edges here. It wouldn't all be perfect, but there would be. Yeah, there we go. Um, just coming in with the paintbrush. Just get some dirt on the side of these. Looks better than the rock in my opinion. Um, I want this to be like mossy dirt rock. So we're coming in with a dark brown first. So whatever you pick first, put it at full strength, and it'll be the base layer when you do this, right? So then we're gonna go kick moss. Whoa, is that grass? Okay. I'm gonna do like a centralized area of rock. Back with our dirt here. I want this room to be self-contained, so I want the circle to end here and not be like a half circle, if you know what I mean. There we go. Maybe like there's gonna be no life next to this. It's too powerful. But everything around it is gonna be. Oh, like, see how it's like digging into the corners there? I like that. And yeah, I just kind of keep layering it until the game tells me I can't layer anymore. And it's like it starts getting hard to do layers. Like, see how the dirt's not really coming in that much anymore. And then if you need to, you can go back and you can just erase and go back to what you started with. And I just like the textured look. And I see how now, before it was giving me moss everywhere, right? But now you get all these textures in there. It has to fit everything in. And now it's patching the moss, which is the look I want. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like this like weird like makeup style where it's like once you start putting on layers and layers, like they'll blend and they'll mix, but once you cake too many on, they won't fit. You know, like you can't fit anymore almost. There's some more of that brown in there. Okay. Alright, I think that works for what I want for now. Naturals. And I want this to be all the same layer. So I guess I want to make my own cave, I guess here. So we're gonna raise the cave area. So I want to make like kind of like a labyrinth here in this position. Give myself all this space to make a labyrinth. Kind of the way I see this last floor is almost like a one-shot in and of itself. So everything above is a campaign that's going to have multiple use, but this I want to have the feel of like one session. So you get into the bottom of one of these buildings, these emergency escape tunnels, and then 3 to 4 hours later, you're at the end of this this tunnel I just made, and down in that pit, and you're fighting whatever, the big bad, solving the problem, you know, what have you. So let's see. Question. Oh, let's put a room down too, because like I said, it's gonna be crypt. Great Hall is the right type of feel. Okay, we're 40. So we need to be 10 in. 10. From here by 20 by 20. 20 by 20 is okay. See what happens when I drop a room in. Everything blows up! Oh, not so bad. Ew. Let's... Yeah, let's do this. Whatever that ugly room was, that whatever it made. Rooms. Crypt Great Hall. 5, 10, right here, 20 by 20. We're back. I gotta cut the cave. Okay, let's go back. 5 by 10. 20 by 20. What's going on now? Five by 10. The heck is going on? Oh, flatten to room height. This might help. Okay. Does this work? That definitely helped. Okay, there's a room there. Let it blow up a little bit as I just turn on the auto walls. I'm really confused. Objects, light. Oh! Oh no, come on! Really? I guess whatever. Can I do floor? No, come on. Alright, so Sag news I cannot do until we get multi-tier stuff. I'm not going to be able to not going to be able to do an auto room down here. No, come on. There's got to be a way to... I want the secret doors down here. I want the function and the secret doors, and this is just making me mad now. Like, why? I just don't understand. Like, why can't I put a room there? Let me freaking draw a room. Why is it only lights and objects are down here? Like, who said that? Oh, here's a great idea. Like, what? Just let it be both. Why wouldn't you let it be both? Why would you? I don't understand that. It was like a colossal amount of extra coding. I feel like there's roadblocks set up for no reason. So, I mean, we could think about doing this in a separate thing, and I think honestly that's what's gonna have to happen. And I guess that buys me some more. We're just gonna thematically move this out. So this is now all going to be crypt space, labyrinth space. And if I want to shorten it, I'll do it this. I'll show you how I'll do it. Because I have this nicked on the end, this is great and awesome and perfect. I'll be able to design around this. So I'll just go back, and the other 3 catacombs will be base floor maps, I guess, so I can have rooms and generation and such. And then this cavern labyrinth area, I'll start from this end, and I'll make it, you know, cut into here as far as I want until I think it's too big or big enough, and then we'll just call it a day. I guess I do want to come in and raise the cavern on the edges of the map like this. I'm gonna probably round this off a little bit on these corners. Make it like a weird egg shape. Like a half an egg. A semi-egg shape. Like a semicircle. But egg. Let's see. I think just like this, just round these corners. There we go, and then we'll just build into them a little bit, so it's not just like a sheer cliff. Let's actually go to zoop. Build it up a little bit. In these corners. Let's create some interesting fighting points. Maybe have this be a path that goes up. Let's raise this. Let's now flatten this. Make just like a little vantage point. Let's go grab a token. Perfect, beautiful, look at that. And these are all 10 foots, great. Or no, these should be like 5 or 6 foot. Or out that. But like that's a jump down. We don't want them just like to jump down. We want it to be like a little overlooker. Terrain. Flatten. Just grab halfway through. And just like pull some out. And then we're gonna go and smooth that anyways. Let's cut this back a bit. There we go. those lines to be straight up top there. Like weirdly bitty. You see like the bits on them a bit. Boot, smooth it. So make it a walkway. Oh, too much smooth. Let's go over the top actually. So I'm a little bit more accurate. Actually, you know what helps in this situation? Let's go back to the beginning where I have my little cuts. We're gonna go flatten. And we're just gonna remove all this so it doesn't show up when I do it, and then we'll just go and we'll build over it. It's like the cave cuts into it very nicely. Now I can just come in here and brush it nice, and then I'll cut that wall off it. Did this before on the Grotto map. If you see on my Patreon, oops. Okay, and then we're gonna go to cave, raise cave, and just recut that back. Hey, you see how it's so pixely? And now what you get is the path to run smoothly along here is a little chirp up right there. No, we want to do flat in there. Undo. And like this is like another cool way to kind of conceptualize your build when you're doing this terrain. Like grab all these rocks and like kind of grab them, make them flat a bit. Use the terrain to your advantage almost. You can do the opposite with like bubble up anywhere where there's moss. So it looks like a little bit like dirt. And then like you do all these like sharp features and then you can come back and just hit a big smooth brush super weak. Just so they're not too sharp. And just gives it some texture. Look at that nice texture in there. So it's not just like a flat, but like any like these paths you'd want to be like mostly flat. I could come and edit them a bit if I wanted to. I might play around with this a bit more. This is kind of just gonna be like a little playhouse for me. Let's see, coming up on an hour. I'm gonna take a break and just segment this part of this stream as the cave. And as I said, like we're gonna come in here in these little hard corners. We're gonna build them up and just make it like a sheer cliff. So it falls off. It's gonna be steep. It's just not gonna be like literally 90 degrees. We'll throw some rocks on it, make it a little detailed, throw some moss and stuff on it too. Kind of hide it up, and then I don't know what I'm putting in smack dab in the middle. It's probably some crystal, but which one? Large single crystal, yeah. Whoa, whoa, want it to be blue, red, pink, and purple, and white too. Make it blue, yay. Oh, make it big too. And that's gonna be like, that's the secret. The ley line crystal and like FX. Magic. Electric arcs. Like, so this is what I have envisioned in my mind. Like in this center area. Void of life. no moss touching where the lightning touches. There we go. Very distinct. Look at that. So it's just like cut itself. There's like going to be a lot of nature around it, but immediately next to it, there's nothing. It's gonna be like a little fighting pit, I guess, in there, maybe, possibly. But I'm also creating a ring of event, so maybe inside that ring is the best place to fight. But there's some chaotic magic going on. No veggies. Settings, grid. Save changes. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I guess we could trim effects, clear effects. Trim this. Push it over that way a little bit. So now it's and also would like this to be in the middle of the map too. So I need to have it split there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Effects. Oh shit, hit the overlay button. Blow everything up. Fuck my life. Bam. Electric arcs. Gonna go to here, and here. We can add more. Yeah, make this freaking dense. I might delete these two. Just yeah, some wisps. And some cold fog. No. Blue smoke. Ooh. Steam. Wispy white. Interesting. Yeah, just playing around for a little bit before I hop off for my break. Shut all the effects off because I don't want them on the map when I build. They're gonna slow everything down. I'll do them last. I just know that's what I want the scene to kind of look like. We're gonna have like this center spot of magic, which is a 50-foot circle. Because maybe I could think about making it smaller. But another time. Save as Catacomb main. And where do we want to save this? In not the second story file. In its own folder. Catacombs. Okie day. So this is what we have so far. And I'll be right back. think I'll snap myself some bubbly. Ooh, that crisp seltzer sound. Okay. Let's see. Let's get Twitch Studio up. Just a moment here as we bring in my co-stream. Take a second to get things rolling. At least bring myself back. Hey, hi, I'm back. Got a seltzer, stretched. It's always good, give yourself a 5-minute stretch every hour or so. When you just clicking and sitting and, it's I like to keep my brain fresh as well as my hands, so. As I said, I'm just trying to get my my partner in crime here. Let me turn that off too. It's not actually that is necessary for them because they need to hear my jazz. Let's get the next map set up. File, new map. I guess this one's gonna be 60 by 60. No, this needs to be universal. So we're just doing like a question mark room in here. It only needs to be 20 by 20 in the room in the middle, so maybe like 40 by 40, and that would leave us what, 10, 10. Yeah, there's 10 on each side. 10. So yeah, I'm not sure. Tunnel. Large cabin. Burrow. I think if I'm in caves terrain, this first thing, I think I shut my room grid off. I'm just gonna see what this tunnel does. I think it's just gonna take me a tunnel. This is the different shapes that's gonna give me. Okay, cool. So we need to not do new map. Not caves. Grasslands. Forest elevation. Crater. No vegetation. Room placement, water level plateau. Mountaintops with water level. Whoa, it's a volcano. Where do the rooms drop? There. Okay, that's fairly low. This is viable. Okay, cool. So let's check our buddy out. Almost here. So they're just getting their camera and everything set up. I think that should work. And whenever they get here, they'll get here. Crypt. Great Hall. 10. 20 by 20 right here. That should be smack in the middle. I hope. 9, 9, 8. I gotta move it over 1. 10. 20 by 20 there. There we go. And I think also I'm going to increase, because I want it to be 10. I like the number of 10, so I'm going to make it a 41 by... I think I have to add 2. And then, of course, move it over. Okay, and then we're going to take terrain. We actually want to bring the terrain all the way up around it, because this is going to be down underneath. We're going to make our own cave. Well, what the trash? I can do it as a cave. Alright. Okay, cool. We're in business then. As long as I can have the rooms, that's all I want is the rooms. And we can have the cave look like this. Great, awesome, lovely. So I guess if you are doing a cave build and you want to have some rooms in it, don't do a cave. Don't do like a forest or a meadow build. And do your room placement on water level, the lowest level there is. And then look at what we can do. We can just bring the cave all the way in nice and tight over this room. And if we want, we can even double up the ceiling on the walls with some custom walls that we drop, just to make it look like it's a high voltage ceiling, if you will. But what's most important about being able to do this is I now will be able to do hallways that will be able to have secret doors. It looks like it's cutting down into it, does it not? I hope that's not the case. I believe cave is the highest of the settings. Yes, okay, beautiful. This is what we were going for. So now... no, because I want that to be secret too, so I don't want those to be on the same map. So I think in this sense of design, you know, you have to remember that, like, if the players are going to be on this map and or they're going to be on a top-down, in my opinion, you know, like if we had more map over here with Fog of War over it, as a player, it's really hard to meta out the Fog of War and be like, hey, there's not a room over there, you know? So if you have the agency of a self-contained map, as we do here, with actual secret doors that blend in, as I'll show you, what we'll get is the allure of an actual secret room. And now this is where we have to say we don't get diagonal hallways. That's then coming in the next patch. But that's okay. Let's see. Coal. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is supposed to be under frat 5, I think. So like, room here for stairwell. Room here for stairwell. For 5. Hallway. Hallway. So lead from Divine. Hallway. So our grid helps. Hallway here. Divine. Arcane Coal, 5 houses, and then we'll do a hallway here. Hallway here will be the frat row in the loft. I think this is the best way to build diagonals. I'm just free ranging it. I have no idea, but what I'll do is I'll delete all the walls, and then I will put my own custom diagonal walls on top of these walls. But then what I'll still be able to have is a secret door at the end of it. Have this taper off. Same here. And I guess now that I'm realizing it, this is what I originally had thought of and designed, is like this own little intimate safeguard in the center of campus below the frat 5. Um, yeah. And also connecting all the houses too. Connecting all the buildings. All the buildings need to touch the castle. Okay. These is going to be the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing, just over here. There we go. Some technical difficulties getting the lore master in here. Okay. Okay, and get our spiral stairs. Let's clean these rooms out first. I do want there to be actual doors on these, because I can have them, you know. So I will have them. And let's go ahead and pick a floor design as well. I'm gonna do a play on the Gothic Roman. Cool shape. It's like a frog or something. Let's see. Hello? Can you hear me? Da, da, na, na, na. Hello? Lord Master? No. I can't hear you. You... I can hear you here. Well, I can't hear you there. No. I pushed you, so you're on. Mute you, unmute you. Okay. Can I hear you now? No, I can't hear you now. What's going on? That's so weird. Oh wait, hold on, hold on. Try now.
Hello?
Oh my god, I had that tab muted for. Oh, I think I might have muted the tab last time I watched the stream.
Oh.
So I had literally just had you all
I was
muted, full
like,
mute.
I was screaming here to myself, thinking it was my audio the whole time, Mitchell.
No, don't scream and ruin that beautiful voice.
LOL.
Just
Well,
you know, a little patience with me and my silliness.
no, my silliness. I didn't
Hi,
even touch the screen,
hey.
but I was so sure that I like had, because I had just reset up the computer and I was like, oh, it's my Bluetooth, it's something crazy. Anyway, we're here now. We made it.
Let's see.
We
Bronze
made it.
or
I am
door
so sorry for my
shopping.
tardiness, but I am so glad to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No, not at all. We've just been kind of just doing the same old deal here, except I'm very excited because I started working on the Catacombs, as you see
No,
here.
listen, you're excited? Okay. First of all, when I logged first in and I saw what you were streaming, I immediately kind of like,
It's a
that's
little
one of the things I
exciting.
spent my screaming on. That
Yeah,
is
it's.
definitely one of the things I spent my screaming on. But yeah, we're here. So that's one of the coolest parts of this whole entire adventure. The sort of the reason why, the big thing, and I'm really excited for a lot of yeah, a lot of what you're cooking up in that crazy map dungeon maker head of yours. So, spill the beans. What are some things you're like crazy about? Because I know we were talking about those secret doors,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
those
yeah.
secret doors
So,
have really got me excited too.
the first hour was me kind of just playing around in Cave World, because I haven't really done a full build down here yet. Um, and I plotted a cave. I did a map on cave mode, and like I got like halfway into it and like terracing it and getting all the ground just the way I liked it. And then I tried to plot a room down, and it lets me plot a room down, but for some reason it doesn't let me come in and do like flooring and no walls and no doors. So I was like, oh hell no. Like I'm not doing this entire build down here without secret doors. Like no. Like hands down no. So I've kind of found a workaround as you see here where we're gonna do kind of I want it to be like a bunker, like a safe house for the students, like if there was an
Right,
emergency. So this is going to be like the meeting area. All the tunnels and paths will lead to all the parts of the campus, all the buildings that we want to touch the college, if you remember.
right.
And so what I did here was just literally I just did like a regular forest map, stripped all the vegetation, made it naked, and uh,
Raised
put
everything out.
you put your floor level on water level, so it drops it down to as low as it'll go, and then you can just go into terrain here and click on draw caves, and you can raise the cave area around it. So I was like, if you start in a cave, you can't get a room, but if you start with a room and build a cave around it, you get what you want. So just the small little workarounds, right? Um,
I'm ex- this looks so dope already.
yeah, super super easy. This all is just cutting it, and I don't know if I want to maybe come in and like add. Still playing around with it, but maybe I could come in and add some walls, get some stone walls, and like prop it up a little bit. And I might want to use the Gothic stone down here too, because it's what I've been using. So like maybe come in and do something like this. So that way the walls aren't so short and these look like really big vaulted ceilings. Might do like double ceilings here.
Ooh, I
And
like that.
then we go to walls, you go to Gothic. I can change that so it matches. And something like that. I want to build it up a little bit. And then so like in here, we don't have diagonal room draw yet, but that's not going to stop me. Because it doesn't make sense for these to not be diagonals. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to skill in these diagonals. I think I got to come start here. So cover the corners. And so like I've done like a lot of diagonal covers like this on like the main college campus. You see where those big doorway thresholds are. I kind of do like footers in the doorway.
Right.
In the same concept, it really was just a design for me to hide the fact that when you do a diagonal square grid, you're gonna have these big L's. So if you just hide those behind something, I'll throw rocks in there, whatever, bushes, and then you do a diagonal piece that you drop above it, you can have the allure of that diagonal room without it actually be done. And really, it's like you can do this without very easily, but what you want is to have the ability to come and do this. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I want this to be tile floor down here, not that tile, but let me find the right one. Dude, stone, but yeah, like the dark stuff down here.
Oh yeah.
Ah, I'm trying to do a lot at once. Help myself out and do less.
Oh, I remembered what it was now.
What's up?
Um, it was. You just reminded me with what you just did. Um, collisions off and zoom in.
Oh yes, the zoom in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when you're doing auto gen stuff, like I'll just do an example so we can do a little walk around, see what this looks like. We'll place a
put
token.
it in. Put it into practice.
So I want to go into cine mode. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna zoom in as far as I can and then go to cine mode on this character. Um, and that is going to make my computer have a way better time uh, switching directions in the rendering program. This one thing that we need to remember is DA is a render program. It is not a game or a graphic design. It is a 3D pixel rendering software, which is like important to notate in the sense. So this is going to go up to the it's going to go up to. I guess these are really more for just show. I guess because they don't even operate that well. Those are going to go to each of the 5 houses, and then these big doors are going to go to the bastions. And then I probably won't keep this, but and I might have to do some trickery here because I don't like how this cuts in. Might have to push the wall back even another tile. But you know, if you look to the left, you have the allure of, and to your left, you'll see the allure of a diagonal dungeon alchemist tunnel.
LOL. Thank
So
you for the tour.
yeah, of course. Um, I did want to ask for your opinion on the that arcane room. I don't really know where I'm going with that. I kind of just threw some furniture and some different stuff in it and left it and didn't want to like sit on it too long. And then I was like, ooh, I'll go do catacombs. It's fun. Um, so I don't know if I have the room for my own liking to have the room that you described, that like magical test room, the training room, right?
Mm.
Strictly because I know the constraints that it needs to have. It needs to be a room that is the size of a fireball and then some, so that there's extra range outside of the fireball capacity, right? So like I'd say twice the size of a fireball at least is the room minimum.
Probably.
I would see this room as a circle.
Actually,
Um, so the shape of that room is horrible for that test. A fireball doesn't fit into that room well. A. And B, if you remember, in the Divine Bastion, I'd put a teleport door in one of the classrooms. And very easily, I could put more of those in there somewhere, or that could just be the door that goes
I like
to.
that. You can put it. You can put it all around the room.
Maybe each classroom has one. Maybe, and then that way I'll just make my
I
own
like
separate
that.
slide and room that's specifically intimately the divine testing room, um, which might give us as storytellers a bit more leeway because it could be like a mini plane. It could have some of its own properties, and it'll make my life easy because I can just not shove a square into a circle, and so mistakes are made.
Oh, you just gave me the idea for how to parse out the exam for the Arcana class. Um, but I want, yes, the test will consist of one caster casting the animate object spells to spread 20 objects out in a large radius
Mhm.
that the students will attempt to destroy, and these objects will be very fragile saucers. So,
You're a
um,
fragile saucer.
LOL. So the task of it is to figure out which of like 3 professors standing quite far from each other around the room
Like in the
are
backdrop, right?
are so no, here's the final test because I don't know if you remember it from the first iteration of the Lyceum. It was that there are 3 professors, and one of them is concentrating on the spell that you need to dispel. The other 2 are concentrating on different spells. If you cast detect magic on them, you'll find out which one of them is casting a I believe it's conjuration or transmutation.
Mhm.
Let me look. transmutation for animate objects. So one will be conjuring like a necromancy spell. The other will be conjuring like an evocation spell, whatever it may be. But there's only one person doing a transmutation spell,
Yeah.
which you can deduce could possibly be animate objects, which obviously is like one of the things that you'll go over and like understand and through the courses. So like drop it as almost like an Easter egg,
Yeah.
and you will then have that person make a decision, and we'll give them, I say, 3 chances, so they get up to 3 spells. But if you do it in one, then you know you're going to get an A plus, which I think will fall a little too hard for warlocks who get to use things like detect magic at will when
Yeah.
they're really not casting a spell. So they might pass quite easily, but that still means that they have to cast detect magic. They have to like think to
To do that,
analyze
yeah.
their situation. Um, and I think we might even add like a bonus to people to casting detect magic instead of a demerit when we say we give them 3 spells. Sort of nudge them in the way of like detect magic is actually a good thing to use. Like
Yeah, I that
that's
so
not
that
like
was
incorrect
actually
with
that was
things.
my understanding of that test, right? It was like if you did it in one spell, you get an A, right? But if you have to detect and then have to dispel, that's 2. But that's what we want, right? Isn't that what we want? This we're kind of like, you should be doing this.
I think it will depend on the method you use, because a person who uses 2 fireballs versus a person who detect magic and then destroyed them all in one fell swoop with a dispel magic. I think that's 2 different things. I think the innate ability in some of these characters, these classes, to be able to just cast detect magic might make that a little
Oh.
one-sided. But again, I think that's the point for giving people the merit instead of the flaw for casting detect magic, like a little secret thing. And I'll also, I think to nudge that in this.
I think that a very easy way to write that in is just say it's counted as one spell counts as an A, 2 a B, 3 a C, etc., right? But the casting of a detect magic is free in the terms of your grade. So if any student, whether they cast it at will or with a slot, casts detect magic, it doesn't count towards their score, and you can just write that in very easily. It just is omitted from the score. So that way, if someone detects magic and then dispels 1-2, it's
It'll
really 1.
also it will also nudge them to detect magic. But that's one thing I'm
No, the
afraid of,
students
is I
don't
don't
get
want
to
to
know that.
nudge
No, no,
them.
no, no. The DM knows that, and that's how they
Oh,
grade the
okay,
paper.
gotcha,
Essentially, the
gotcha, gotcha,
DM will know, and behind the scenes, you tell the students, if you use one spell, you get an A. You blah, 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 and then the teacher knows behind the
okay.
scenes that. Um,
I need to create a point system for exams now. This
yes.
is
Also, I mean,
fun.
we could chat a little bit about the material you sent me the other day, because I was intrigued by it. I think it's very neat. I think it's the direction we want to go. But I guess one thing I'll bring up, one of the stark things that I noticed that I didn't see, that's something you've definitely talked about on the channel before, is like why aren't we encouraging marshals like barbarians with advantages on athletics checks to do grapples in combat, right? And I didn't see that reflected in the examination of a barbarian. I saw a lot of using your rage. I saw a lot of reckless attacking. Um, and I feel like it's a great place to start, that material you sent me, but I feel like it's a little simple right now. I feel like we don't want it to be too complicated, but we also don't want it to be redundant, where it's just like cast rage 10 times, cast it 20 times, cast it 30 times, right? Perhaps what my brain kind of thinks is something more intricate, and I love the idea of like turn efficiency and action economy, right? Um, Perhaps a barbarian needs to successfully rage, grapple, attack, and reckless attack all in one rage of 10 turns. So in one
Mm.
rage they have a list of things that they have to do. So that way during the combat they might not actually achieve it, but every combat we're encouraging them to try and do all these things in the combat, right? And that same concept could be applied to the bard, right? So not just casting 70 bardic inspirations, but achieving 4 inspirations on the party mid combat, or saving using maybe for a saving throw, or having a full turn action economy. I love bards are one of the few characters that can say maybe 5 turns in a row use an action, bonus action, and a reaction if you have the right setup, but you could just trim it back to bonus action. So like in that sense you're encouraging bards to be active and to not just use an action every turn or just cast an inspiration and sit back. You want them to fill their turn with efficiency. So I feel like there's some room for growth, but like I love where we started.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Some nice inclement weather here.
Huh? What did you say?
Oh, Prince Harry's taking his nap. What a cutie. Let's get the windows open, get some air in here. Alright. So, down here is going to be a receiving area. This is going to be an area that we need to hold a lot of students, maybe have storage for bedrolls. I might do a couple closets filled with bedrolls. I want the space to be big and open, but with like lots of seating that could maybe potentially be like pushed back. Um, in the sense of an emergency. I think bed wise, I should just like do that. This might be a cool way to look at it. What do you say? Like 160 students. We're looking at like a 200 students ish on campus in housing.
Something close to that, I would say.
And then maybe like another 50 more.
It
Because
would
the
definitely
of
need to be
what's it called? What's it called? Scant housing. The ones out in the woods.
fast housing.
Fash. Yeah, that's a fash. So like add another 50 for fash.
Do you really see like beds down
No,
here?
no, I don't. So this is me visualizing. I'm just like, this is what the space would need to do function wise. So I'm going to just kind of have this, just like imagine it like this, and then and kind of see how I want to place furniture. So like in
If
time
it
of,
were there.
if it were there, in time of emergency, and I'm gonna like place furniture around this
I think if
almost.
anything, it would be escape tunnels to get out. They probably wouldn't need beds. Right? Like it would be more about the tunnels leaving and the chambers getting away from.
Well, they
Um,
could very easily portal people out of here, but what if they didn't have a safe time to portal? What if they got stuck down here and there was an emergency? This is the bunker. This is like all types of emergencies can happen. There's no guarantee that I'm not gonna have beds down here. That's not the design. I'm just trying to see what this looks like and how many beds would actually fit down here. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 38, 42. And then say another. So I guess we could maybe like arguably fit like 150 people down here ish. If they're all like shoved in Hurricane Katrina mode. have like little paths too, is what we ended up seeing. So rugs. I don't think I'm gonna keep these here. I think I'm just gonna use these to denote paths.
What if? I don't know. We could go in.
What are you
The
thinking? What
problem
are you talking about?
is, well, I don't know. I'm just staring at this document, absorbing what you said,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay,
making
cool.
comments about the weather. Like I can think quick, like on a fly like that. Make me smack you through the mic, sassy man.
What did I do? I didn't even do anything.
You know what you did.
Oh gosh. Okay, so this is a better way to kind of depict it, and the beds kind of help me see this, because like you want furniture
Is it?
to be placed, and these would be paths of just like common walkway paths.
I don't know about furniture.
What do you see down here?
Like, I see it being. I like this big open area. Maybe you can put, because this is the catacombs. This is like underground.
No, this is the underneath the frat 5. This is the bunker. This is where all the tunnels lead to originally, and then we will have another access way, I think maybe here, that leads
Ooh, we can say
to.
that the Frat Five
So here, hold
created
on.
created like this hub specifically to make them the
Cata.
tunnels and like, ooh,
Well, I think that
maybe
was
the Frat Five
the
are the original
design.
buildings.
They could be original buildings, maybe from like the original founders. Maybe this is where those 5. This is right where
Yeah,
the 5 factions came from, right? The founders, right?
right,
Yeah, so maybe they
exactly.
all had their own house that they built. This is where it started, and then they built this catacomb, and eventually I'll show you where we're gonna go next. So catacomb,
I'll say I like the idea that the catacombs are wherever present, but
bunker.
they've built like this specific like hub there.
And so like it started with this hub, and as like a safe area for them and their friends, and then maybe they built the college, and they built all these other buildings and had this big plot, and they're like, oh, we'll connect them with a system, and then accidentally they stumble upon the catacomb main area. So
Did you
every
save that one?
yeah, I did. Um, Everything that's touching these rooms and castles is going to be like a man-made tunnel with walls, etc. You know, and then this big long chunk is going to be what sits underneath the college, and this is all this black area is going to be a labyrinth of cave systems that effectively will just play out as like a one shot. So I want this whole what I said at the beginning of the stream is my goal for this build is to have if students.
It needs to be in water. If that's the ley line, it needs to be in water.
You want it to be in water? Okay. Where's my water brush? We'll see what happens. That's gonna might be an issue because water level only goes so low.
Can you raise the other stuff up?
Yeah.
Make it bigger, add more,
Hold
crystallize it
on. Let me
more.
go look. I'll go look on the other map. You want it to be in a pool of water, like a little lake,
Yeah, that's fine.
like a little
Well,
like a
no,
little puddle.
because it needs to be connected to the water sources as well.
So my idea originally here, I'll just tell you what I was thinking, and then we can just adjust it as fit. So I was like, this rock in the tunnel, the rock is connected to the other tunnels in the castle and the foundation, and just in this immediate area, I plan to do like some electric arcs and just have it be like devoid of nature and life, as there's too much raw magical power. And then as the room progresses, we'll just have like really weird fungus and different types of colors of plants to kind of just make it like a weird, almost like a Fey experience from the extra power. But I was just gonna do like a rock bed in the center of this. And then my idea for that was we effectively create a big center spot in the middle of the map that when you, if you did come down here and had a BBG or some type of event, you have a very clear area in the middle that the characters might be able to fight or would be very easy to stay in, and then that area would be affected by magic, and you could then add some room effects or some wild magic or something fun to the fight at the end of this tunnel. But
Mm.
we could do that with a pool of water as well, and just make it like maybe you want to do like a 5 foot pool, like maybe like a little tributary or.
Yeah, it can definitely just be something that connects it to the water sources of the grounds as well.
Cool. Yeah, we'll
And
put
like that
some
very
little
like
geysers in
visceral
it.
connection of like
I think so. I'm gonna go back to the other map and open, and I'm just gonna play around because that one's set at water level already. And essentially, my goal is, have the players whenever they go into one of these tunnels, whether it be the frat row, the divine, the Coleman, probably not the Coleman, the arcane or the loft, the 4 different entrances, they will have access to the tunnel and then access to this room here, the bunker. And then from then they'll get access to the next map that I showed you, the main point underneath the college, and that's all going to be about a 3 to 4 hour session, and essentially, like I said, like a one shot. So when the characters do come down here and have that progression through the tunnel, the shape and the feel and the size will feel like a one shot dungeon in a cave tunnel system. Um, Effectively just kind of keeping it short and sweet, and the way I designed things underneath the castle are still going to have the feel and the aesthetic as if you're walking underneath the castle spatially, but I kind of cheated myself on some of the space because I don't want these to be like huge giant maps. um, so yeah, let's see what happens when I do Dewada.
hold on 1 second. I think I might also have I might have an idea here about this, but I'm not super sure.
About what, the water?
Um,
I can go lower if I want to. Yeah, I figured it out. I just have to do it differently. Can I raise above this? No, that's max. So I'm not going to
like,
be able to
what if
make
you
it be as deep
raised
as I
up
wanted
just
to.
like What if you say again?
I'm not going to be able to make it as deep as I wanted to, but this is the way to do it. I have to do everything kind of this way.
What if you like put the electric sparks down and then you raise the ground up in like a small little pillar and then put that gemstone on it and then like did like a fog effect and like maybe tried to layer that and that could like I don't know if that would work. And then like raise up like a stalagmite.
I thought blue and purple was cool because it matches the arcs.
Yeah, I like blue a lot.
Like
Blue is
how
like
I
just
guess I kind of
blue
like that
feels like it's
deeper.
the color of magic.
I like that a little deeper with the water cutting through the crystals like that. And let's.
Yeah.
Oops. Oops
Because the
again.
water doesn't need to be the water itself doesn't need to be deep. It's just this connection to the water. I think is all that matters.
So yeah, I can make the room deeper. So watch, I'll show you what I'm thinking here. And just do a little bit more legit now that we can see it for real.
And I was also thinking I might have I like because I like your idea. It's like kind of like for the marshals, you're like get off this combo, right? So maybe because the other thing that I'm looking for is the ability to repeat it enough that it's a goal to get to, but with something like that, I feel like it's so niche, it would be hard to guarantee that they can do those things.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to find like the balance of like, because I actually really like the idea, especially with the barbarian, like you saying like get off in an XYZ on a target. I am losing my voice.
yeah, a bit. Yeah, well,
Um,
I think that with the more specific you get with the requests of those quests or missions or tests, whatever, um, the more I would worry, I guess, like in their ability to achieve them, right? So I think that's why I said I don't want it to be too much and too complicated and too inundated, but I definitely don't want it to be as simple as um, it was like just rage 70 times, or even not even that. Like I think that rage is a good way to take it because that's a very important pillar of the class, but it's like it's the rage, 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 right? I think at the end there should be like some bigger, more complicated task that's not just do your basics. And maybe we can find a cute way to kind of include that. Do
did you have any like directions that you thought it could take for that specific like
Yeah, look at
point
how cool
of
this
like
looks. Um, well, that's what I was thinking with like the barbarian, where it's like we're thinking of the rage and like I think in the first glance of the barbarian specifically, it was in this sense of rage as a spell slot and a use and like the one thing, right? But rage is a 10 turn act feat. It's on you and it's active for 10 turns. And I think a lot of times the question isn't always just like did you rage, but like what did you do when you raged, right? And you kind of answer that a little bit, but I just think there could be a cool way to like yeah like I said just like maybe in one rage have a grapple and go back through the things to hit all the basics so maybe they need to take 10 damage and a grapple and a reckless attack. Maybe they need to take down two enemies and so I don't know what the combination is, but it's something that feels a little bit more like a test or a challenge as opposed to just like a cumulative collection. I wanted to lower this.
hmm.
Yeah, and kind of make it like stand up like this here, almost up and out of the water, and have it. You could even like. Do you want them to be able to like walk near it? So like put like a little pad of 5 foot of just difficult terrain, and then everything around it would be deep. You'd have to swim
Possible.
like this. And I'm very much trying to think of it like as like an encounter map in there, where
But
like
like low stepping stones that are a little under the water.
some like some rocks maybe that aren't in difficult terrain that are just maybe popping out that they can stand on like this.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah.
Like some
Yeah,
rocks to
like
stand
maybe
on that
like
aren't
little.
necessarily a path to it maybe.
I was saying like stepping stones like in the water to get to the stone.
Okay,
Maybe
okay,
that way
so
the landing is like a lot
got
smaller
you.
than like.
So a pathway underwater over here that kind of leads to it. That will
Yeah,
still be
yeah, yeah.
5 foot underneath the water, so you're still in difficult
Yeah,
terrain getting there, and when you're there, you'll be in difficult.
and you'll also have to jump.
Nice. Difficult terrain and jump in the water. Soggy boots. Love it. And then like yeah, like we could come in and I think add a fair amount of like some geysers, stuff like this. Make it like active and stuff's going on. There's our stalagmites and mites because we're in a
I'm
cave.
also So
like a
this
bunch of
is
stuff like
really hard because
this.
Mitchell, you have to remember the DM also is doing the upkeep and track of this with the player too. You know, like yes, you're accountable, but like this, it's that much that we have to put it on them, and
Okay.
it's easy for me to put a tracker on, and I don't the point of none of the point of my of those features for the barbarian were specifically just rage 70 times, but specifically like you were saying, talking about what are you going to do when you're raging. And I get that they do feel seemingly repetitive, but there are also calls for skill checks. So in the first level, it's use this ability to reduce 25 bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage while you're in rage, obviously. And then you are also tasked with completing 5 successful strength checks while raging. So that is pointing towards you being able to do whatever you would like with those combos, but you have to use them. You can
Hmm.
use them separately, you can use them in combat, out of combat, and that's sort of what I wanted to leave room for. So that way people weren't just like, okay, rage needs to be used for combat. I use it in combat for the most efficiency, because I think that's like getting away from where I wanted to go with some of this. I wanted you to be able to find the strengths in these things in different places. I do think that maybe I could add that same clause for strength checks to the second level, but it's easy to create like a tracker on D&D Beyond where you can just uptick your experience with certain features if they have like if I can put there in the code of D&D Beyond while making this homebrew asset to be able to just uptick um, as many times as like you've completed a thing and track that experience or track that sort of like side quest or mission,
Mm.
you know. Um, so that's also what's kind of going through my mind,
No, that's a
because
good point.
you know
That
the
definitely is a good point.
I don't want it to feel repetitive though, but I want there to be enough room that it can happen in not like a timely fashion, but these are like prerequisites for you to reach the next level. And, you know, I want them to feel easy to do for each and every class to a certain extent. So
Yeah.
that way no one feels like super left behind. And
Hmm.
also you don't feel like you're slogging through something that isn't fun. But I also don't want it to be like this very unfun, like, yeah, okay, I did whatever again. You know,
Well,
so I definitely hear
that's
and
like
see what you're saying there.
when I saw this, like this, I think, does it go to 70 rages at one point? And I know it's cumulative, so the first 30 count, right?
It's but it's damage. It's
Oh,
not
it was
the
damage.
amount
It
of
was
times
damage.
you're
Yeah,
raging.
it wasn't the
It's
amount of time it
reducing
rages. It's
damage.
damage. So I mean, I'm like in that sense of like, you don't want it to feel redundant or boring. Like it's that was my concern, right? But I think in the same breath, we don't want it to be inundating for the DM, and unachievable for the players. So I think like a really good question here is like, how much actual combat experience will they have? How many chances does the barbarian have to deal damage while raging? Is that going to be an every session thing? Is that going to be whenever they try to
It's
go and get some
reducing
training?
it's
Um,
reducing damage.
Sorry, reducing damage. So even better, yeah, you need things that are able to deal damage. What happens if you have a party that is really effective at taking people out, and that barbarian never has a chance to take damage because everything's dead? And or what if your party is really role play focused and they don't really get in too many bouts out on campus or on adventures and stuff, and they don't have enough combat encounters based off of their play style. And like these aren't all knocks; these are just like the thoughts that go through my brain, and like how the intricacies that
No,
like
never
these things
knocks.
need to have. I think for them to not have all, like, as we said, we want them to feel a certain way, right? Um. So yeah, so I think it's a really tough question. It's like I don't feel like I have the answer. I feel like this is something that needs to be like thought on a bit more too. I don't think I have the answer here. I realized, so I originally was gonna put this piece, this bunker on the back end of that big cave expanse. But then I was like, oh, I can't really do that because the room thing, right? So I switched it and I did this map separate. I was like, oh, I'll just do this map separate. But now, because of the water thing on the other map, I can't use that map, so I'm just gonna make this, and I'm just gonna merge them again. So I'm back where I started. It's a circle. Boop. I think connect these hallways. And then we add map past. Oh god. Crypt. Hallway, please. Okay, and do the same thing over here. Huh.
I think I'm gonna keep. I think I'm gonna keep the number increments. I think I'm gonna change some things about specific
Specifics?
yes, thank you. And point towards some things that I think might help prop up
Okay.
these ideas. Because I don't know how far you did get through the document, but I ended up finding that I liked using the downtime things to point towards a lot of where you should go, for exploring like what these things would look like further. So I think we can definitely do that. And I mean, these are still very, very fresh ideas. I feel like I spat them all out in like a
Hmm.
fever dream.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think
So they definitely do need a lot of developing. So I think, yeah, I like this combo idea. I think what I want to do is I'm going to take that and run with it. Is I'll keep the base, and along with those strength checks that I already proposed, because that's kind of what you're proposing right now.
yeah.
Except you're calling for like you want to see like the AB up down combo.
Kinda, a little bit, yeah.
And that's the kind of brain that I need because I'm not that brain. Um, I'm not the like the fighting game brain, but that's kind of like what you have to be to play a barbarian, right?
Well, not only that, I think I don't know. I've just been like around the community a bit, and I feel like there's like this like it's very common for players to just be like, oh, it's like I cast my spell and like oh, and or like what do I do, right? And it's like you have so many options in this system. How do you not have an option? And I think learning and teaching and doing everything we're doing is going to help with that, and when just being privy of it. But I would like to see that some type of rendition of that in the testing or the what the requirements it takes to kind of graduate. Um, and have that be reflected somewhere in there. Like you showed capabilities to fully utilize the character in a situation. So I don't know how that is kind of achieved. But that's kind of like the direction I was going with, like I guess the AB combo, right? Like you have this rage, and what are you doing with it? Or maybe it's like with the bard, like similar concept, possibly like not just doing A or B, but doing A or B consistently for 5 turns. Because in my opinion, like a bard is best used, you know, continuously dishing out those bardics, and being active with it, and it's you can just dump the party with inspirations off the bat, but it's not the most efficient. There's timers on them. So just I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kind of like spitballing and idea throwing, and I know I feel like I see something. But I need to not
No, I think you definitely gave
clicking
a lot of.
stop clicking DA and like look at D&D to figure that out, which I will have that time capacity soon. So um cave terrain cave. Move this one back so that way those two are even. And yeah, I'm just like trimming up and like getting this map like all ready to just leave. I'm getting it crispy and squared away so that I can add this next big chunk to it, and then I'll just do a foundational work across the whole way and just do it step by step. Okay.
So,
Is this up?
in terms of what I see happening inside, I noticed that there were columns before. I really liked that.
Some pillars? Heck yeah, we're gonna put some pillars in here. But so like my thing with pillars is structurally there would be a lot of them down here. We're not gonna go for structural
Mm.
because it's gonna be cluttered, right? Um, but in this sense, if you see these paths that
Maybe,
I've
but I also
made,
like that. I also like that to teach them about cover. Not to teach them, but like if there was an
it'll be
encounter down
there.
here, they
It'll
could
be
use it.
there. It'll be there. Trust me.
And if you do make them 10 foot.
By 10
So
foot, you
2
want
by
big
2.
chonkies?
Yeah, because like I said, I want to teach them about cover. And then if we give them maps where you get to use cover, they'll be like, oh, they taught us about cover. Let's use cover.
Boom. So yeah, so what I envisioned is you see we have these paths here,
That's
so
that's that's 15.
that's 10 by 10.
Oh, never mind. Your stream is delayed for me. Sorry.
And then, based off the paths is where you're going to put these pillars, right? So there's function to where these pillars go, right? The pillars are going to be in a space that doesn't conflict with how the space is going to work, right? So like that's the whole point of putting these. I'm going to get rid of these carpets. These are just for me to visualize kind of as I start the build. And then maybe, do we need more? We could even space these out, I think, is the call. So it's 1, 2, 1,
Maybe
2,
just put them along, like
1,
give them a
2,
space out and put them
1,
alongside of
2,
the
1, 2,
depth. The
1, 2, do even. So like this. So like in a battlefield map, like that's more than enough pillars for someone to play with.
Yeah, I like that.
Like it's the thing is, I commonly run into this like issue when you're building a map, and it needs to be used for a purpose. Like this map doesn't need to be A, structurally sound. It doesn't need to be B, like aesthetically purposeful. It needs to be C, fucking a map for players to play the game on. And down here is where I think it gets a little bit more out of the aesthetical college look for roleplay and a bit more into that one-shot dungeon crawl feel.
Right.
So if I was to build this dungeon, like this is as thick as I'd want it, and then that gives me room to go along the outsides, because you gotta remember, we're gonna put like other stuff in here to make it a room, right? So like this box takes up 5 feet around the outside, so I just cut another 5-foot square around the outside of this room to put some decorations up. If I want a table or chairs or stairs or, all that stuff eats up space, and it all needs its own intimate space. Like you saw when it first plotted this, it had tiny columns every like 5 foot. Like it was so much to walk through. It's like it's crazy.
It was. It was a little. It was a lot, but I'm kind of like the a lot type of person. I kind of like that. Like hollow columns. I'm just like that's kind of cool. It's kind of like very out there. But I also can see like no. I want a lot. I want a lot. I feel like you could stick 2 more rows.
Let's get a token.
Yeah, you can stick 2 more rows in there. You could actually bring those in closer and then put two
They
more rows
wouldn't
on the outside.
be closer though. Like they wouldn't. It's so close. It's so obnoxious. This is 20 feet. You're telling me you've seen a chapel or a church with freaking columns closer than 20 foot, and these is 10 feet, 5'10".
You're telling me you've seen an underground, uh, like hideaway bunker built under a college connected to a magical catacomb?
Touche! Touche! Okay, alright, fine. Let's see what it looks like with more.
Let's go big, go big, go
I think if
big.
we're gonna
Come
go
on.
more, then they can't be 10 by
They
10s. They
can
need
be
to
a
be
little smaller.
fives, like five
No,
foot pillars.
it needs to be thick. Well, okay,
I'm gonna do half and
I
half.
can compromise
Just
there.
hang
I
on.
can
We're gonna do.
compromise.
I'm gonna compromise and do both. Just wait.
Dude, ¿por qué no los dos?
just wait. Just wait. Because it's like this is how I learned the Gothic lattice. Was I didn't want to do it, and then I was like, oh, I'll just do it. That's not gonna fill up the space. I've already used that elsewhere. Ooh, yeah, maybe some just like a big chunky squares. That'll help me with my space parameters.
My space parameters.
Ah, no, undo that. Delete that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's how it would go. This is gonna help look better, but that's helping me visualize where these pillars can go. They're not just allowed to go anywhere.
Oh,
There's rules
who
to
made you
this.
master of the pillars?
There's
Who
rules
made
to
you
this.
master of the pillars? Okay. So here's I think a happy medium. Going somewhere in the right direction. I think I'm gonna have to add two, maybe three sort of goals to each level
Okay.
that are repeatable. Yeah, we'll do three goals for each level that are repeatable, and we can put on these like charges. Here's the other thing, though, Mitchell. They still have classes on top of this, and they still have.
Like, look how tight. This is so tight. So this is like
I love
unfightable.
it.
There's no sight lines. Like, so it's like if you're
Well,
teaching them
why did
about
you?
cover,
Okay,
like,
why did you do so many on that side? I
how
said
many you want?
4 rows in total.
What do you mean 4 rows?
In the whole room, 4 rows in total. That's all I wanted.
How do you want these blocks? You need to. The pathways need to exist. You can't just have. I mean, I guess you could just like have this like be like.
Yeah, that's too many. That's way too many.
Well,
Cause
how
why?
many?
Cause why
Less.
there's like spread the. Get rid of these big ones on
No, it's half
the
and
right
half, so
side
we can see the difference. I guess we can get rid of these now because I see this and I know I like this better. But until you convince me.
till you convince me. Okay, make them 10 foot. I think those are better than the other ones because they're not weird shaped. They won't look as big.
That's fair. Oh. That's literally, it cuts
No,
off. That's crazy.
hold on. What? do it the same increment as you had before. You
What do
had
you
like
mean?
one, two, three.
I'm
Oh
just
my
making it
gosh! You want to know
sizing it.
why?
What?
Rows and columns is what I guess I keep messing that up. It should be like 1, 2, 3, 4 by like 4 by 5. So 4 columns, like 5 rows.
Four
Almost like you
columns,
had it before.
5 rows.
Because you had it like, yeah, exactly. Like you had it like spaced out
Let's see
before.
here. This is viable.
And I think even still, that's too many. Because you made 6, like I said. That's less than that's more than I had said. Because you had spaced them out differently before. Where it was like basically a 4 by 5.
It can't be a 4 by 5. The room's even.
Maybe it was,
If they're gonna
maybe
be
I,
gridded. Yeah, so it's like again, look at how big this is for the player perspective. And like, look how tight this is. Like, is this really what you want, effectively? Like, it's crammed and cluttered. Like, you want like 10, 20-foot spaces between people because that's like, I try to go just beneath what is 30 foot, which is the basic movement speed for most people. So like distances between things should be like around 10 to 20 so that you can move from one pillar to another pillar in a turn. Ranges tend to be like 60 to 120, so it's like,
maybe make them, maybe we do
pew!
make them just
The
smaller.
only way you can shoot somebody around one of these corners is if you're within 5 feet, like it's a little tight. And then if you do like smaller pillars like this, and a lot of them, I could space these out and see what it looks like. We'll do like a lesser version of these two. Problem I'm running into over
The
here
point is
though
to
is,
make, one of the points is to make combat difficult. It's meant to be difficult. And like imagine having like a big monster in there destroying pillars.
okay, love it, love it. So like I'm kind of like that's why I'm not imagining
But
stuff
I
like
don't
that.
like,
I'm imagining like
the big tiles. I don't like these big towers because they look ugly when they're blown up that big.
they're so big. I don't like 10-foot by 10-foot pillars personally. I think they're too big, and not many pillars in existence are that actually big.
Yeah, just like there are a lot of strange mystical catacombs.
So like they can be big, but like I just think it just looks a little wonky is all.
No, I hear you. I hear you. So I think the format, and you remember one of my things is iteration. That's how I like can get ideas. I sort of like have an idea, and I like say, okay, but what if I did it this flavor? I
Yeah.
just reflavor things. I'm a reflavorer. I love to add more seasoning. And I feel like the ideas get better and more refined after time, and then I go back and I like refine the first ideas. So I think the first goal is gonna tie towards downtime. So pointing them towards a direction for what they do with their downtime, and to meet a goal within that downtime. I think the second one, you're talking a lot about like these combos. How would you kind of like quantify that in like an idea or a sentiment regarding like how the game is played? Like, what does that feel like to you? Is that like, whoa, that's cool. Actually, why are you getting rid of that?
Getting rid of what?
That I liked that cool like flower almost shape.
This shape? I'm
And
not
I
getting rid of it.
like
This is my new thing I'm trying. Let's see
I
if I
liked it
like
with the
this.
4 pillars in the middle.
Oh, with the 4 chunky pillars in the middle? It just looks weird. So it's like here we have
Hating on the
this
fat pillars.
10-foot gap here to here. It's like a 10, 20-foot gap
Um,
across. I think this might work for me.
what does that feel like though? This idea of like this combo idea almost, and how would that also translate to like a caster?
Mm. Um, so like with a caster, oh hey buddy, with a caster I would say it's got to be something like, like what do I think of when I'm a caster? Like the ability to have a spell that I'm concentrating on and actively casting spells to in the meantime. I'm making a castle right now. They're catacombs. Yeah, we'll be finishing up here soon. We'll be finishing up right now. Um. So yeah, so so perhaps like the ability to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the ability to like have certain spells be so like that AB button combo, right? I would love to
Right.
see all my casters concentrating on a spell turn 1, turn 2, action, bonus action spell, right? Like that is a
Okay.
strong combo that maximizes your potential, and that is emulated further in prestige classes, like when you get Shadow Blade, right? Like Shadow Blade, bonus action, so it's like there's so many combos
Like some
in
sort of
min maxing,
yeah, like combat efficiency.
that if you just learn that lesson of, oh, every turn I can cast two spells if one of them's like Misty Step or maybe it's Spirit Weapon, or like, and having the ability to do that and encouraging people to build their characters in that fashion too. I think a lot of times, inexperience gets you to that point of you're looking at your character sheet, you're looking for something to do, and you're like, well, my character can't do anything here. Like those are things that you should be addressing at level 1, 2, and 3 as you build your character and growing that character into an efficient and effective adventurer. Um, so that would be the button combo I think I see for maybe a caster. I think one,
I like
two.
that. Yeah, that also puts me in the right that like same like idea. That like same like mental space of like we're making combos, we're like putting things together and kind of juggling them
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
them more efficient in combat overall.
So I like doing. What
Okay.
do you think about these shapes? And like cut the middle out for walkway.
Yeah. And then sort of just mirror it on the other side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I like it.
And I
I
think
like
that
it.
works. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I have a lot of things to chew on. I got a lot of ideas. I think I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
like
yeah.
really push for like a third thing to put under each of these. So like a downtime focused goal, this like combat combo focused goal, and
Mhm.
then also like a secret third thing that I can't quite put my finger on. And I
Mm.
feel like right now we're like touching on like a lot of modes of play. Like downtime, you get like the ability to role play and progress your character, and combat, you get those combat heavy wanting to like you get your min maxers, you get your crunchy dice rollers. And the third thing is like I feel like it's like something with like investigation or something with like you know but it's like I also don't want to push that too far on classes that don't have a lot of ability in that sense and also may not want to. It may stick to just the two things and we like make them like slightly more complicated, but I don't know. I right now I've broken down like the first couple ones where like with going back to the barbarian, I've pointed towards the first part of this being using your rage to reduce the same amount of damage, 25 piercing, bludgeoning, or slashing, but pointing towards the fighting pit, which is
Mm.
a place that we have already created. Like you now have to spend your downtime in the fighting pit and absorb that damage.
Mhm.
Um, so now you're gonna go and because it's part of your downtime, you'll have like your own combat each session where it's like that's what you're doing during your downtime. And then the second part of that is you're tasked with completing five successful strength checks while raging. One of them must be a grapple, shove, dash, or something of the sort. Um, and then when you go to higher levels, raising the amount of successful checks you have to make, but also raising the amount of specific checks you have to make. So next time it's 10 successful strength checks, but five of them have to be one of those like specific things. So I think that's like kind of what you were talking about, but it still gives the leeway in a way. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's
We'll have to see. We'll have to see it on paper. I can't really get into it too much anymore because I gotta dip out of here.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah. So I mean, this is essentially so I wanted to make this one big map because I feel like it's not that much asset over here. Because I'm not really putting too many pieces down, and it's just some rooms. I'll have to check the map size, but then have this. I don't know how you want the secret passageway to exist, or how you want access to this way, but some type of path. Type of cave
Um,
path here.
if
That cuts
if there's any
through
connections anywhere else, I would just say that they
and
should be secret.
leads out
You shouldn't be
here.
able to just like see a door or something like that.
So that was my thought process behind having it be on two different maps. Because what I said on the stream was, um, like it's really hard as a player when you're looking at a map with a whole bunch of fog of war on it to meta brain that fog of war out. And also
Yeah, I
conversely,
definitely don't think they would be on the same map at all.
okay, yeah, so then we can, that's fine. We can totally keep it on two
Yeah,
different
I
maps.
liked the separate map that it was on before. I was just saying to like raise that water level
I
on
need to
that
redo
map.
that whole map if you weren't listening.
Oh, I missed that part. That's
Yeah,
fine.
because of the water level issue. So I need to redo that entire map. So it's either can be added to this map or I can keep them separate. The idea of keeping them
You
separate.
can't paint water.
No, it's a level. It's a whole level. It's not
Oh.
painted on at whatever level you want. It's its own level that you have to set in place. Um, so yeah, your choices here are we add it to this, or I do a whole another map that just at this level with these constraints. Um,
Hmm.
I like the idea of it being separate from all the other passageways because it's A, going to be more caverns and less columns and walls, and B, isn't man made, and C is like a secret, right? It's so like it'd be okay for a student to sneak down and get down in this bunker area and check it out, but that doesn't guarantee them access to the ley line and cavern, right? Those are two separate things. And
I'm still
veiled
thinking
behind checks
even this would be
and secret
secret.
doors.
I think even this would be secret.
This is veiled behind secret doors, but like there's two stages, right? Just because you've made it into this stage, which I would assume would be an easier check than the ley line door.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Maybe
Yeah,
we're talking like a 15 DC and then a 20 DC to find these two doors and then move on to the next stage of the
right.
dungeon. Um, in a sense, and just aesthetically is in my head. So yeah, so this isn't guaranteed to get down here, but just because you're down here isn't guaranteed to go to the next stage because these things are going to be sealed off. These are protected. So, um,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah, think about
Well,
it.
like I said,
Thought
I've got
process
a lot
it.
of things to chew on, and
Sure,
I'm
yeah,
gonna.
yeah.
It's probably time that I let you go.
Yeah, I think you've seen a lot of different stuff on what I'm doing in direction. So if you have any ideas, just hit me up during the week and we'll talk about it. And I'm excited to see what direction you take these tests and stuff. And
Exactly. Yes. Very
sure, all right.
excited.
Well, we're getting out of here. Thank you for coming to the stream. Uh, we'll see you. It is Friday, right? Yeah, I'll see you next week. Lore Master should be streaming over the weekend. And of course, I got
Tonight,
my
even.
yeah tonight. And of course, I got my socials up top. So check me out, follow some of my stuff, and if you wanna maybe download one of my maps, you can check out my work on Patreon. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, sorry. We've been having weird times, Mimic, but we're gonna figure out the schedule kind of here in the next week or two as our work schedules are changing a bit. Um, but I'll see you later, Lore Master. It was nice to see you.
Peace, peace. Thanks for having me.
Take it easy.